Everyone assumed he was just another lonely salaryman, but out of nowhere, he gets transported into another world where he has unlimited magical power. Liam was just an average salaryman stuck in a dead-end job, and after dozing off at work, he wakes up to find himself in a completely different world. The room is filled with nobles and high-class people enjoying drinks, while a maid repeatedly tries to wake him up. He is utterly confused by what is happening and starts wondering if this is all just a dream, but the maid insists that he must get up and greet the guests at the party. Liam decides to check his reflection in the mirror since he once saw a TikTok that said it could help end dreams. However, when he looks, he is shocked to see a young boy's face staring back at him. The maid looks a little worried about this clueless little incel, but before Liam can even process what's going on, his father approaches him. The man scolds him, telling him to pull himself together and take care of his looks-maxing routine later. Liam is completely baffled by this but slowly starts to realize that he has been transported into another world and is now the fifth son of a noble family. The party happening right now is being held to celebrate the birth of his younger sister. Since all four of his older siblings are boys, he decides to just sleep it off, hoping that when he wakes up, he'll be back in his real body. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Feeling completely hopeless, he heads out to the balcony, where the maid tells him that all the land stretching out before him belongs to his family. Liam is in complete disbelief, wondering just how ridiculously rich they actually are, while the maid continues to look at him in confusion. Later, he meets up with his older siblings. Bruno, the fourth son of the family and a total dumbass pimp, is already plotting to marry their newborn sister into the royal family to secure their future. He explains that their father and eldest brother are currently trying to serve the nation because, according to the laws of this country, every noble family must contribute something of value to the kingdom. If they fail to do so, they will lose their noble status and become commoners. Unfortunately, their father is a complete idiot who hasn't done anything significant yet, even though he is already in the third generation. That means if they don't accomplish something soon, their entire family will be stripped of their noble rank. Bruno also tells Liam that their oldest brother, Albert, once tried to make a career out of being a storytime TikToker, but the Sigma King called him a beta bitch, which only made it even harder for them to impress the king. Before they can continue their discussion, their magic teacher enters the room holding a book. Liam gets insanely excited at the thought of learning magic, but Bruno immediately tells him to calm down because only a handful of people ever manage to use magic properly. Liam doesn't give a single damn about what his pimp of a brother has to say and immediately rushes outside, asking the maid to take him to the library. Once inside, he sees shelves filled with books on magic and randomly picks one out. He starts reading through the book and attempts a basic fire spell. To his own surprise, it actually works, and he manages to make his hand glow like a tiny candle. The maid congratulates him on his first successful spell. Overwhelmed with excitement, he immediately goes to his father's study and asks whether he is allowed to take books from the library. However, Liam's father couldn't care less about his dumbass fifth son, just like my dad, and tells him to do whatever he wants. Liam cusses him out in his head but leaves with all the books he needs. He starts practicing magic every single day in his own room, slowly getting better with each attempt. Over time, he begins learning more advanced spells, and after just 1 month, he reaches the point where he can cast flame magic without even needing to look at the books. Bruno, the wannabe pimp, is completely stunned by this since even the few people who manage to learn magic typically take at least a year to cast the simplest spells without referencing a book. Bruno takes the magic book for himself and tries to cast a spell, but his pathetic ass fails miserably, proving that he can't even perform the simplest magic even with the book in hand. Frustrated, he hands the book back to Liam, telling him that he could use his talent to rise through society. Liam doesn't really care about any of that and simply heads back to the library to grab the ice magic book. On his way back to his room, he is suddenly stopped by his father, who demands to know whether he has successfully learned to use magic. Liam gets a little nervous and ends up accidentally releasing a weak burst of ice magic onto the book he's holding. His father looks unimpressed and asks if that's all he can do. Wanting to prove a point, Liam decides to show his brain-rotted father the true extent of his abilities by casting the flame cutter spell without the book. This completely shocks his father, who is now thoroughly impressed. Immediately, his father's attitude changes, and he happily tells Liam that he can take as many magic books as he wants before walking away. Liam is a little surprised to see that his father actually liked his magic, but before he can think too much about it, he heads into the forest. While wandering, he suddenly stumbles upon a strange man wearing a white jacket. The man looks at him carefully before asking whether he is from the noble Hamilton family. Liam tells the man that he is the fifth son of the Hamilton family. The man then asks whether he has come to capture him, but Liam has absolutely no idea what this weird-ass guy is talking about. Not wanting to stick around and risk getting baby oiled by Diddy, he tries to leave, but the man stops him. He claims that he can show Liam a more efficient way to use magic. Liam is immediately intrigued, and the man suddenly casts all 5 elemental magic types at once right in front of him. Liam is completely shocked to the core by this display and is so impressed that he begs the man to teach him. The man agrees but first asks Liam to draw a circle and a square at the same time to make sure he isn't dyslexic. Once Liam passes the test, the man reveals the trick to performing such magic, and to Liam's surprise, he successfully manages to use both flame ball and flame cutter at the same time. The mysterious man is just as shocked as Liam. This technique is so rare that only 1 in a million people can pull it off, and he was only trying to flex on a kid. Liam then pushes himself further and attempts to use 3 different spells at once. He manages to succeed, but his stamina is too low, and he quickly runs out of magic power. The man tells him not to worry about it, since his abilities will improve over time. He then demonstrates his own limit, showing that while Liam can only use 3 spells at once, he is training to cast 16 at the same time. Liam is beyond impressed, so the man decides to give him a Samsung Galaxy ring, which contains a vast collection of magic books. Liam is ecstatic about this and immediately tries a wind spell, which works flawlessly. But when he turns around to thank the man, he has mysteriously disappeared just like my dad. Suddenly, the maid approaches Liam, asking if he's okay since reports of a mysterious man wandering around their property have been spreading. Liam lies and says that he was alone. The maid then hands him a new magic book and warns him to be careful before leaving. Liam wonders what that was all about when, out of nowhere, the mysterious man reappears, casually explaining that he had simply made himself invisible. He looks at the magic book in Liam's hands and tells him to try casting a spell while wearing the galaxy ring. Following his instructions, Liam summons a flaming salamander, but the moment it appears, the ring absorbs it like a pokeball. Liam quickly realizes that he can store any spell inside the ring, so he starts summoning as many magical creatures as possible and saves them one by one. When he turns around to thank the man again, he has vanished once more, leaving only a note that tells Liam to keep his mouth shut. A month passes after that incident, and Liam continues refining his magic. He creates charcoal with the help of his spirits and even manages to produce some mana crystals. One day, while he is out in the forest, Bruno spots him and inspects what he has made. He nods in approval, claiming that these skills will make Liam independent in the future. After that, this incel happily announces that he is getting married to a low-ranking noble family. Even though they are poorer than the Hamiltons, Bruno will still gain more independence and, most importantly, finally pop his cherry. Liam is happy for him, but Bruno tells him that he should start thinking about his own independence as well. Bruno then explains that before Liam was born, their father was desperate to have a daughter so he could marry her into the royal family. But his plans completely fell apart when Liam was born a boy. In his frustration, their father gathered 1,000 soldiers and launched an all-out attack on the Dragon of the Hills. He managed to seal the monster, but in the process, he lost 90% of his soldiers. Bruno claims that even though Albert and their father are doing everything they can to secure the family's noble status, he personally believes that the Hamilton family is doomed. That's why he advises Liam to focus on his own future rather than waste time worrying about the family name. Liam thanks him for the advice and heads into the city to sell some of the items he has made. After securing a fair deal, he stops by a local noodle shop for lunch when suddenly, an idea hits him. He immediately rushes back home and enters the kitchen, handing his servants a pack of instant ramen and telling them to try it. The servants are blown away by the taste of this new creation, while this capitalistic pig starts scheming about how he can turn this world into America with 50% obesity. Without wasting any time, he rushes off to the local shops, hoping to sell his instant ramen. However, every single shopkeeper refuses to buy his product. Confused and frustrated, he later learns that his oldest brother Albert has placed a restriction on him, preventing him from selling anything. Liam leaves the shop feeling defeated, while Albert smirks from behind the counter, cursing Liam for being too good at magic. Liam, however, refuses to give up. He starts brainstorming alternative solutions and suddenly remembers a storage box spell he recently learned. This spell not only allows him to store a large amount of items, but it also lets him teleport them elsewhere. Liam chooses to use his magic in a creative way and forms a duplicate of himself, sending it off to a kingdom beyond the Hamilton family's control. The clone successfully sells everything and deposits all the earnings into the storage box, allowing Liam to access the money whenever he wants. In this manner, Liam, the capitalist pig, brings a new kind of servitude to this world. A few days go by as Liam continues refining his illusion skills, growing even stronger than before. Out of nowhere, Albert approaches him and mentions that he has heard a lot of good things about him, then asks what his future goals are. Liam immediately becomes cautious since he knows Albert suspects him of aiming for the position of family head. To avoid suspicion, Liam replies that he simply wants to find a job and earn money. This answer appears to put Albert at ease, and he offers to introduce Liam to the Hunters Guild. Liam is thrilled about the opportunity since it means he can become an adventurer and take on the role of hunting monsters. The next day, he visits the Hunters Guild, where all the adventurers mock him for his short stature. However, Liam stays confident, keeping his head high and his middle finger even higher as he strides toward the guild master. The man tells him that even though he is a noble, he can only accept missions that match his rank. To determine his strength, the guild master asks Liam to attack him. Underestimating Liam, the guild master prepares himself, so Liam decides to hold back and casually fires low-level fireballs around him. The display shocks everyone in the guild, including the guild master, who declares that Liam's abilities qualify him for the B rank. After leaving the guild with his new badge, Liam starts wondering how powerful B-ranked adventurers really are. As he walks, a gold-digging bitch named Asuna stops him, asking if he is truly a Hamilton and if she can join his party. At the end of the day, dumb is dumb, and certain assets are certain assets, so Liam agrees like a total simp and sets out with her on their first mission. As soon as they enter the deep forest, a giant wolf beast appears before them. The furry warrior instantly leaps into action, drawing her knives, but to her surprise, multiple other wolves emerge from the bushes, completely surrounding them. Asuna starts to panic, but Liam tells her to stay calm and releases his magic Pokemon, which the wolves immediately bite down on. Suddenly, the creatures begin to swell up like his wife after marriage, rendering the wolves completely immobile. Asuna quickly finishes them off, and they return to the guild with a massive haul of 42 dead wolves, shocking everyone, including the guild master. Impressed, he assigns them a new job. Liam and Asuna head out on their next mission, eliminating a massive caterpillar monster blocking an important trade route. Asuna feels excited but also nervous, knowing that monsters differ greatly from ordinary beasts since they possess a magic stone that grants them immense power and unique abilities. Liam, however, remains optimistic, until he finally encounters the caterpillar. Its entire body is made of metal, rendering all their attacks useless. Physical and magical attacks alike fail to leave a scratch on the creature. Thinking quickly, Liam devises a new strategy and instructs Asuna to act as bait. Once the monster moves into position, Liam summons a massive boulder from his item box, crushing the caterpillar instantly. They return to the city, this time presenting not one but 2 dead caterpillars. The guild master is astonished, but Liam simply explains that he used his enemy search skill to locate another one. Impressed, the guild master rewards them with a generous bonus. A few days later, Albert and their father arrive in the city to await an important guest. As the highly ranked man steps out of his carriage, he glances briefly at Liam, making him uneasy. His instincts prove correct and the man suddenly calls for him, and demands to know where he obtained his ring. It turns out that the mysterious figure who taught Liam magic was a highly skilled mage named Raymond, whom this man was acquainted with in the past. Laughing, the old man then instructs Liam to attack his servant with his full strength, eager to gauge his abilities. The butler moves to the corner and braces himself as Liam unleashes a barrage of 11 simultaneous fireball attacks, shattering the servant's barrier and dealing real damage. However, the old man merely chuckles, amused by the display. He declares that Liam is already powerful enough, and asks him what his future aspirations are. When Liam states that he wants to be independent, the old man's expression remains unreadable. The old man immediately decides to knight Liam, granting him independence on the spot. One day, while practicing his item box magic, Liam stumbles upon a letter inside. The letter is from Raymond, stating that he has prepared a graduation gift for Liam. He mentions that he placed 100 kilograms of gold into the lake Liam had previously emptied, and challenges him to figure out how to retrieve it. Liam spends some time thinking, realizing that it couldn't have been gold bars. Trusting his instincts, he commands the box to release gold dust powder, which turns out to be the correct answer. Suddenly, a trapdoor beneath him opens, leading him into a hidden dungeon where he discovers an ancient magic book alongside another letter. The letter reveals that Raymond was never able to use the book's magic, so he is passing it down to Liam in hopes that he can master it instead. Overjoyed, Liam immediately begins practicing the mysterious spells written within the book. However, despite multiple attempts, he continuously fails to produce any results. Several days pass before he finally succeeds in casting a spell from the book called Another World. This spell creates a magical door that allows him to enter a different dimension where he can hide himself or anything he wants. Realizing the endless possibilities of this spell, he excitedly continues practicing it. A month later, during one of their adventures, Liam and Asuna find themselves in a battle against a frog monster. However, all of Liam's attacks prove ineffective. Just when things start looking dire, the frog decides to self-destruct. Realizing there is no way to escape in time, Liam quickly opens the magical door and pulls Asuna inside. The frog detonates, obliterating everything around them. Asuna is shaken, realizing that she would have died if not for Liam's magic, which makes her question her own strength. After recovering the monster's magic stone, they return to the guild, where the guild master is shocked to learn that they completed an A-ranked mission. Noticing Asuna's growing doubts about her abilities, the guild master suggests that she form a contract with Liam as his familiar. This would allow her to level up faster, though it essentially makes her his servant. The power-hungry adventurer immediately agrees, and the guild master performs a binding spell to finalize their contract. The decision turns out to be incredibly beneficial for her, as she instantly gains a unique skill that makes her faster than lightning. Realizing the advantages of the contract magic, Asuna takes Liam to meet her friend Jody, a veteran adventurer. Jody also decides to form a contract with Liam, and to everyone's surprise, she gains a special skill that allows her to heal any wound through cooking. The ability is nothing short of miraculous, and soon, word of this phenomenon spreads throughout the kingdom. Several days later, the old man invites Liam for tea and tells him that Princess Scarlet of the kingdom is eager to see his slaves perform for her. Liam refuses, making it clear that his companions are his friends, not entertainers for royalty. Before leaving, the old man immediately apologizes. Unbeknownst to Liam, the princess had been secretly disguised as a servant and had been watching the entire exchange. Seeing a young boy openly defy a royal command only piques her interest in him even more. The next day, Liam is summoned to meet Princess Scarlet. Right away, he finds her unpleasant and full of herself. After exchanging greetings, she has a chair prepared for him and requests that he recount the story of how he defeated the giant caterpillars and the frog monster. Relieved that it's an easy request, Liam shares the tale. The princess is impressed that he managed to slay such powerful creatures despite not knowing any high-level magic. The mere mention of high-level spells makes Liam feel an undeniable urge, but before he can daydream further, Scarlet snaps him back to reality, asking to see his contract magic in action. However, Liam refuses, standing firm in his belief that his friends are not performers. Surprisingly, Scarlet bursts into laughter, finding Liam even more amusing. She declares that he has entertained her twice and decides to reward him, instantly granting him the title of Baron. Liam is utterly baffled, knowing he hasn't done anything worthy of a noble rank, but Scarlet casually explains that making her laugh twice is accomplishment enough. She also gifts him a magic book on familiar contract spells, which truly excites him. Later, as he heads into the forest to study the new magic, Bruno arrives for a visit. Congratulating Liam on becoming a baron, he gives him some celebratory birthday bumps. Bruno also mentions that Albert must be fuming with jealousy right now since Liam's rank is now higher than their father's. Liam argues that he is still just a baron, which is a lower title, but Bruno clarifies that first-generation nobles, those who earn their title rather than inheriting it, are considered of higher status. That night, as Liam returns home, he runs into Albert, who is seething with anger and jealousy. Without saying much, Albert scoffs at Liam as he walks past him, then coldly vows to prove that he is the better one. The next day, Liam meets up with Asuna and Jody, both of whom start calling him master and making some rather unholy requests. This earns him jealous glares from every man in the city, making it hard to endure their stares. To escape the attention, he takes his girls out for some monster hunting. Jody, being an archer, pins down the wolves while Asuna swiftly finishes them off. She remarks that her eyesight has improved significantly after forming the contract, which is a great benefit for an archer. Wanting to enhance her vision even further, Liam decides to cast an enchantment spell, essentially turning her eyes into telescopes. This upgrade elevates her from a mid-range archer to a full-fledged sniper, and she earnestly thanks Liam for his help. Soon, they return to the guild only to find it in chaos. Curious, they ask a passing adventurer what's going on, and he explains that Albert has made a terrible mistake. The idiot removed the seal of a powerful monster trapped within their territory, resulting in severe injuries to many people. Liam immediately realizes that Albert must have done this out of jealousy and rushes to the mountains. There, he finds dozens of injured soldiers, including Albert himself, who is lying on a stretcher. Upon spotting Liam, Albert grabs his collar and declares that he won't lose to him. However, the guild master swiftly bonks Albert on the head, knocking him out, as he has no interest in hearing another word from the fool. Asuna asks what they're up against, and the guild master explains that decades ago, Liam's great-grandfather sealed a dragon fiend named Rhydon in the mountains. While Rhydon himself is still weakened from being sealed for so long, the real threat comes from his offspring, who have been attacking the soldiers. The guild master has already arranged for magic users to reseal Rhydon, but the problem is that the dragonlings must be dealt with first. Liam and his party set out to handle them, and Asuna charges ahead, expecting the young dragons to be easy prey. However, despite their small size, their fire breath is so powerful that it can reduce a tree to ashes within seconds. Liam quickly tells Asuna to fall back and launches fireballs at the dragonlings, only for them to counter his attacks effortlessly. Realizing they can't win in a head-on battle, the girls suggest retreating. Suddenly, the dragonlings charge at them, and Liam gets an idea. He tells the girls to run as fast as they can while he summons his magic book and opens the door to his pocket dimension right in front of the charging dragons. Without thinking, the dragonlings dive straight into the portal, and Liam instantly dispels the spell, causing them to vanish. The battlefield erupts in cheers, as this clears the way for the magic users to focus on resealing Rhydon. After the battle, Asuna and Jody eagerly ask Liam about the spell he used. He explains that it allows him to store things in a pocket dimension but admits that he has not completely mastered it yet. This means that anything trapped inside may disappear permanently, which is why they don't need to worry about the baby dragons returning. Asuna fawns over Liam's genius when, suddenly, he hears a voice calling out to him. He turns around and is shocked to see that the dragon fiend Rhydon is speaking to him. Unable to comprehend how this is possible, Liam questions him, but Rhydon has more pressing matters. He reveals that he can sense Liam's existence is unnatural, with his body and soul not being a perfect match. Furthermore, Rhydon has the ability to read minds and quickly discovers that Liam is from another world. As Liam struggles to process this revelation, Rhydon expresses interest in him. The dragon asks Liam to take him along and show him what kind of future he can create, promising to aid him with his power. Liam, sensing no ill intent from the dragon, agrees. At that moment, Rhydon transforms into pure mana and enters Liam's body, leaving behind a dragon-shaped tattoo on his hand. Liam immediately feels a surge of energy flowing through him and decides to test it out. He fires 11 magic missiles without chanting, and when he does chant, he manages to launch 17 of them with perfect control. Amazed by his newfound power, he turns to see the magicians around him wheezing and gasping for air, as if they had forgotten their asthma medication this morning. Rhydon quickly advises Liam to absorb his excess mana, as it is overwhelming everyone nearby. Liam follows his advice, and the magicians finally breathe in relief. The guild master thanks him for handling the situation, and Liam apologizes for the mess his reckless older brother caused. To make up for it, he donates 10 kilos of gold to help the injured recover. Later that night, Liam's father thanks him for cleaning up Albert's mess. Curious about what will happen to his brother, Liam asks about his punishment. His father replies that Albert will be placed under house arrest while they decide on a suitable punishment. Feeling bad for his brother, Liam heads to his room to talk. However, before he can enter, he hears Albert screaming inside, raging that he was supposed to be the one to revive the Hamilton family, not Liam. Realizing that Albert's obsession with their family name is what turned him into such a bitter person, Liam chooses not to disturb him. Instead, he quietly walks away and heads to bed. As Liam wakes up the next morning, he discovers that forming a contract with Rhydon has granted him 2 exciting new spells. Eager to test them out, he rushes to the forest and spends the entire day practicing. After hours of effort, he manages to master just one of the spells. This spell allows him to summon the baby dragon from the pocket dimension, and to his surprise, it is now completely friendly and obedient. As the little dragon happily cuddles with Liam, he suddenly hears a surprised voice behind him. Turning around, he sees Princess Scarlet staring at him in shock. She asks if he can use holy magic as well. Before Liam can respond, she quickly changes the subject, explaining that she is here for an important matter. She tells him that defeating a dragon is a remarkable achievement, but the old men in power will not allow her to grant him a higher title than Baron. However, she has found a loophole. Instead of a noble rank, she is granting him the title of hero candidate, which will not only benefit him but also help reassure the public. Afterward, Scarlet asks Liam to explain how he defeated the dragon. He recounts the events, including the contract he made with Rhydon. This revelation shocks the princess, as it confirms her suspicion that Liam has the ability to use holy magic. Realizing the immense implications of this, Scarlet warns him that if this information were to spread, it could become a huge burden on him. To protect him, she orders him to keep the details of his contract with Rhydon a secret until she gives permission to reveal it. Liam has no choice but to agree, understanding the risks involved. The next morning, he receives his reward from the princess for keeping his mouth shut, a treasure chest filled with 3,000 gold coins. The story will be continued in future videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.